Welcome back and welcome to Meet the Author. This author's name is Mrs. Viera Gossain. She wrote a book called Mahima. Mahima is a memoir. You know what? Truthfully, I read it thoroughly and enjoyed every page of the book. Come on over. Let's meet the author, Miss Viera Gossain, and hear her outlook on her book called Mahima. A very good Saturday morning to you. Namaskar. मैं नीलिमा मेहरा आप ही की हस्ता आप ही की दोस्त, and welcome to our segment called Meet the Author. A couple of weeks ago, I presented to you a very interesting author, not from here but from New York. Well, today we have an author. She's beautiful, she's attractive, and she's written a very, very beautiful book, actually, very close to her heart, to her mind, to her soul, and to her life. I would like to present the author to you. Her name is Mrs. Viera Gossain. Here she is. Viera ji, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here.
My pleasure. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
Good, thank you. Congratulations on this beautiful book, Mahima.
Thank you so much.
So let's begin. Where exactly do you hail from back in our motherland, India?
I lived in the north part of India. The name is Roorkee, and the state is Uttar Pradesh.
Wow.
So, as a matter of fact, I was born and raised and went to college and university, and then I lived 24 years of my life in that little town.
Wow.
Yes.
So when did you move to Washington, D.C., and what made you move to Washington, D.C.?
Washington, D.C. I moved in 1990, like end of the summer, but that's not my first destination here. When I came from India, I went to St. Louis, Missouri. That was in 1980.
So what brought you to this part of the world, Washington, D.C., the nation's capital?
It was like, when I came here, I was a graduate student, study at St. Louis, and worked there for 3 years. And then that was my ex-husband's jobs, which brought me to Washington, D.C. And before that, we were in Philadelphia, and we covered several places in this country.
Wow,
Yes.
beautiful.
Yes.
And what exactly do you do professionally here in the D.C. area?
I'm in healthcare. I'm a nuclear medicine specialist, and I work for Johns Hopkins.
Nice, nice. And how long have you been doing that?
Since 1990.
Wow,
Yes.
beautiful. Now that we've discovered the you, I'd like to get to know the authoress part of you. What made you write this book? What was the inspiration behind it? Why did you write this book called Mahima, and why is it called Mahima?
Wow, there's several questions
All right.
in one question. Let's
Go
cover
ahead.
one at a time.
Okay.
So this book, the first manuscript of this book was started in 2004, about 10 years ago.
Wow.
And it was like bits and pieces of old memories in my mind, written on the piece of paper. So what I did, I just decided to collect them and started writing. Amazingly, it's like it's amazing that my first draft was not in English; it was in Hindi. So I started writing in 2004, a little bit at a time, little bit at a time. As a matter of fact, this book has 3 phases. So the third phase of the book was written first. So I wrote the book, and it was the manuscript, the Hindi with pen and pencil on the paper was already like a manuscript in 2 years, which was 2006. That Hindi script was sitting in front of me, and I was just thinking what to do with it. Had no idea how to type Hindi because we don't have Hindi typewriters.
Of course not.
So one time I was thinking, let me just ask someone in India, call them and find out how would I be able to type, or how can they help me. So in that situation, I thought that let me just translate that in English.
Wow.
So I picked up the pen, ink pen and paper, and translating it. It took a while, another 2 years with the manuscript, with full-time job, being on call. I was getting time, but not much. It took me about 2 years. And then the whole manuscript, it was about 120 240 pages was written, and then again I had no idea what to do with it. I had no intentions to publish it, just keep it as my diary, my memoir. But then I read it, edited it, maybe 4 or 5 times.
Wow.
Not ready. Then I thought, let me try to publish it. Okay, I started calling the agents. No luck.
Wow.
I called them, I emailed them, and I snail mailed them, but I'm not like Baldacci or Baldacci or John Grisham, so they really, there was no response. So anyhow, so first I thought, let me just get edition, like nicely editing the job done.
Right.
Miraculously, I met a wonderful, wonderful man in 2008. Talked with him. He edited my book 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, and it was ready to go to publishing.
Wow.
Okay, so then, since I had no agents, the publishers are looking for like top authors.
Of course.
So I decided to self-publish it. The main reason I self-published this book is I really did not want to stand up only for me or for Mahima, but I wanted Mahima as a voice to the women of this world who don't have voice or courage.
Wow.
So that's the time I decided to publish this book.
Nice.
And it was published, and it came out in December of 2010.
No, beautiful, beautiful. Yes. Now, why the character Mahima in this book?
Yes.
Tell me something about that.
Mahima, first of all, when I started writing the book, the title in my mind was name of a girl.
I see.
So I had several, because this story, the whole book revolves around Mahima's journey from her childhood, youth, when she got married, up until the end. So Mahima sounded like so rhythmic and so like musical. It has a meaning behind it. Mahima means, as you know, it's a Hindi word.
Of course.
And it means glory, like glory to the other people.
Of course.
So I picked the name Mahima. In the book, whole book revolves around Mahima's journey and her life.
Beautiful.
Yes.
So what is the reaction of people that have actually read the book?
As a matter of fact, I work with patients, and sometimes, you know, some patients bring a book, they are reading the book, so I start some conversation with them. So I just introduce Mahima to them. They ask questions. Who is this Mahima? What is the book about? So it's a collection of memories, of course, memoir.
Memoir.
So some of them bought the book, and they loved it, and they write me emails, and my friends, they read it. I heard very, very positive reviews, and I heard negative reviews too, which I really welcome. Seriously, I like negative reviews.
Well, you know what, that's how you grow. I think criticism is very healthy because it makes you stronger and look towards a more positive way of life. And in case you do decide to, you know, write future books, it'll just make you healthy and think in a wider, you know, horizon. So tell me, is the story of Mahima related to any reality, any real incidents in your life? Yes.
This is a memoir, so it's a true story. So all the episodes, all the incidents here are related. Yes, they are true, and it's not a fictional work.
I see.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I know it says a memoir, but you know, you still.
Exactly.
I still wanted to know: is it really all everything that's written? Because I read a very small synopsis, and it's very, very touching, actually.
Thank you.
Very touching. Now, voice for women.
Yes.
I love that because I see it in the book. Is this just for Indian women, or is it for women globally?
It's a globally concept, because I'm so glad that you got me at this time, because we are talking about on TV, we are on NBC and all the channels, they're
Yes.
talking about the domestic violence,
Oh,
the
yes,
abuse,
yes.
and it is a globally factor, and this book is everywhere, like online, all over the world.
Oh, wow.
So, yes, the thing is, this revolves around Mahima. Mahima is an Indian girl. It does not mean that this is
For Indian women only.
women only.
Nice.
As a matter of fact, in my epilogue, I wrote a little bit about like how the similar story can be reflected in other women's lives. So
We've got several attorneys that come on the show, and a couple of them actually speak about domestic violence, and it's very sad. I think it's just a situation in life that you've got to face.
Yeah.
But it's very sad. But I think us women, we need to grow up. We need to stand our grounds, and we
Yes.
need to voice ourselves and voice our opinion.
yes.
Do you think this is a man's world?
Well, that is such a tough question. I would not generalize it. It's a man's world, but I would say a good percentage of women, especially from our culture and our civilization, face the same challenges in their lives. And the thing about it is the social culture, our social environment is such that we are not really too comfortable talking or sharing with other people.
Right.
And also it's like our it's our self-esteem. We protect our like dignity, which is basically, to me, it's like it's a very complicated world, and the complexity of our culture does not dictate that we come out and share our experiences with the world.
Absolutely,
Yes.
absolutely. I like that. Now, tell me, Vieraji, do you intend to, or do you have any intentions of writing or translating this book in Hindi, or publishing it in Hindi?
Oh my goodness, such a good question you asked. Okay, now my Hindi manuscript is back.
Okay.
It's all written. This is my 5th edition. I'm editing and editing and editing. And my goal to publish was the last March, but it's not complete. And so I decided, let me just look into it one more time. Each time I read, each time I correct, each time I read. So yes, that's
Definitely.
my project, ongoing project,
Oh,
which is intensely going right now.
oh,
and
nice,
yes,
nice.
yes,
Now, was this book published here in the US?
yes,
It was published.
yes.
And if I want to, or anyone here, our viewers would like to get a copy, how can they get a copy of this book?
Yes, if
You've got a hardcover as well as a soft cover, right?
Yeah, this one
Okay.
is hardbound,
Okay, right.
and this is softbound, and it's also on ebooks.
Ah,
So you can get it from Amazon.com, or if you type my name and title on the
Right.
Google engine, it's everywhere, all over the world.
Oh,
So you can
nice.
get this book in India too.
nice, nice. Now, since you're an author of this very first book, I believe, right? Am I
Yes,
correct?
yes.
Now, I'm sure you've written papers and research. Since you're a research scientist,
Yes.
I'm sure you've written other papers.
Yes.
How was writing for you? I mean, as compared to, yes, I understand your memory, your life story, and all the good things about women. But how was it different from doing research papers and then getting into this writing of a book?
This is amazing how I did that, but let me tell you some of my writing experiences. It's like this is all from heart. So all you need is paper and pen. You don't need several books around you, like when you write your research papers or your computer or anything. And I was not typing directly into the computer because I like to write.
Of course.
So writing any story, to me, it's my own opinion, is very different than writing research papers. Presenting research papers in the conferences and meetings is entirely different experience than what I'm doing right now with you.
It's a different ball game.
Different world.
Yes.
But when I was writing this book, I explained a little bit in my prologue how I wrote the book and how I felt when I was writing. At times, I was writing and my pen was racing with my brain. So it was overwhelming experience at points, and it is a good experience.
Beautiful. Now that you've written one book, do you have any intentions, or do you foresee yourself down the tunnel writing another book?
Yes.
Not necessarily your experience or memory, but do you see? Yeah, I know it's a
my
lot of
other
work,
book is also like in the progress, but only a few pages are written.
Beautiful.
And that is going to be published in English too first.
Beautiful. Do you have children?
Yes, we
And?
have 4 children.
Daughter?
2 daughters and 2 sons.
And how do I wouldn't say how does the family take it, but how do the 2 daughters take the book?
They are very supportive. They read the book and they appreciate it. They are taking it very positively.
Beautiful,
Yes.
beautiful. Well, I definitely want to congratulate. I think you've done a wonderful job, and I haven't read the whole thing, but I did skim through it, and I think it's very touching. At this point, I would like for you to face the camera. If we haven't discussed anything of your choice, I'd like for you to point out or tell our viewers whatever you would like, from the bottom of your heart. There's the camera.
Can I just read a little bit
Please, go ahead.
from the book?
Go ahead.
I'm just going to
Go ahead.
cover a little bit, which is basically to introduce the books to my audience.
Okay.
And this is in the end, so that would give us a little summary. And
Okay.
I will also read just a little paragraph, few lines, not long, from the beginning of this is the note to the audience.
Okay.
So, which will give them a little introduction.
All right.
Okay, this is the first few pages, and I'm just going to read it. This book is the true story of a girl named Mahima. Mahima's long journey was bracketed by her innocent childhood, romance of her youth, and a sentimental yet tragic road during the adult phase of her life. Every crossroad of her journey, of her life, and the paths between them was shaped by many unforgettable and indelible moments. At times, those paths elevated her to the summit of the highest mountain, and at other times they brought her to the depth of the deepest valley. Sometimes the surroundings of her journey were like beautiful, blooming, and fragrant gardens, and at other times fallen dry leaves caused by a storm and crushed underfoot. At times she saw the glorious days of the bright and shimmering sunlight, and at other times she traveled through torrential storms. She journeyed through those paths, enjoyed them, faced them, shaped them by courageously, or at times even surrendered to compromise. Such was the definition of her journey.
Beautiful, very nice.
This is the
very
introduction.
nice.
Thank
very
you.
nice. Very
Thank you.
nice. Yeah, I do encourage for all our viewers to take a glance at this book and read and see. It'll really touch your heart. Very
Thank you.
nice.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Well, great. I think we've covered just about any and everything about the book and about your career, your life, your profession. And hopefully we'll be able to see more of you because you speak beautifully.
Oh, thank you so much.
Especially on women, because we like other women to come speak about, women in general, not only Indian women, but women in general, whether it be science, books, any and everything about life, because I think women need to be discovered.
Yeah, this is awareness.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
They're just a very precious treasure of life that we need to bring out. So thanks a million for coming. I truly appreciate it.
Thank you. Can I say just 2 words of thank you?
Absolutely.
First of all, I thank you and the Global Network.
Thank you.
And second of all, not in order, my 4 children and my editor. I mentioned my wonderful editor, and that my wonderful editor is my husband, Hemchand.
Oh.
And he not only gave a new shape to Mahima, he gave a new shape and new turn, such a beautiful turn to my life. I thank you.
Oh. Oh, how nice. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And may God bless you. And I really admire the editor.
Oh, thank you so much.
Take care.
Yes.